Connections we trust. This is how we learn and how we teach. Whether we are learning in person, through streaming video, or by reading a book, we are connecting to communications from others that we trust. But we do need both the connection and the trust to learn. Since we live in a world of online conspiracy theories and AI-generated voices, this trust between a student and their instructor is even more important and possibly more difficult to achieve because of today's climate. So, how many of you have a favorite teacher you remember from school? And did you trust that teacher? Well, of course you did. But why? What was it about that teacher that made you trust them? I'll take a guess. 1, that teacher most likely made an effort to know who you were. One of my favorite teachers was Mr. Rhodes, and he was my calculus teacher. What I enjoyed most about our interactions, though, was arguing about college basketball. He was a UNC fan, and I was a Duke fan. So we were in opposing camps and disagreed about everything, but that connection made my time in his class better. I felt like he took the time to get to know me as a person outside of the math classroom, and this helped build the trust. Second, I would say that teacher was probably in your corner most of the time. Another favorite teacher of mine, Mr. Wheeler, he taught English. After writing a few essays in his class, he asked me why I wasn't in the honors English program. And I told him what I had been told. The head of the English department said that I couldn't be in honors English because I was dyslexic and my reading levels were lacking. But he went to bat for me and took on the English department, and the following year I was enrolled in honors English. The third thing I would say that most of those favorite teachers had was that they believed in you and they showed it. Obviously Mr. Wheeler believed in me, but so did Mrs. Shula. She taught the biology classes. Once I had taken every biology class on offer through the curriculum of my high school, I told her I wished there was more. So what did she do? She created an independent research biology class for me. This woman created an entire course for me and got it approved by the school board. There was no way I was going to let her down. I completed the course with an A, and since then she's had that course available to offer to other students that would like to continue their education in biology. All 3 of these teachers went out of their way to communicate with me and to know me. They all asked about my interests and listened when I talked about my needs. They gave me real feedback on assignments and listened when I gave feedback to them. This communication built the trust between us. So, how do you build the trust with your students? Well, you get to know them. And there's several ways to do this. One way to get to know your students that works for most class types is a first day index card. So on the first day, each student on an index card will write their name and then their interests, their hobbies, maybe their favorite book or movie, what kind of job they have, just in general conversation starters. And then as a teacher, you keep those cards and you get to know the students through the information that they have chosen to share with you, because if they decided to write that down on the card, obviously that's what's important to them. Another way is story time. So you start this by sharing a story of a defining moment in your own life, and then break the students up into groups of 4 or 5 and have them tell each other defining moments from their lives. And while they're doing this and the students are getting to know each other better, you wander around and listen to a story out of this group and another story out of that group, and maybe even ask questions or comment on them, on their stories, to get to know them. So this not only helps you get to know the students better, but as the students get to know each other better, this will help foster a community of learners between the students. Now, through this process of discovery, you are likely to encounter views that don't line up with your beliefs, but that's okay. As a teacher, it is your role to broaden the perspective and knowledge of your students. And you never know when the students might just pay back the favor.